Let's finish our messenger bag. So this is a worsted weight version so that it is big enough and bright enough for you to see what I'm doing, rather than the dark black one that I knit for the Sunset Nova colors that I have for the main Nova. This is the bag before blocking. I'm just using this for the tutorial and I can block it later, but it is sort of has a tendency to curl. And I'm fine with that because I have planned to sew mine down to make it look like little clasps, like a little leather satchel or something like that. So I will be sewing this down with a contrasting yarn at the very end. What we need to do is our little cast on bind off straps here need to get sewn to the inside. And so you can see the little box shape of this messenger bag. There's sort of narrow sides and then a long front and back. And we want to sew the straps down inside. And the easiest way to do that is simply to first kind of figure out how long they need to be and then sew them on the inside. Once your Nova is done, you can make sure that this fits over her and you can kind of adjust the length. So if you want, maybe sew one in if you're doing this as the mystery knit along and then wait till the rest of Nova is revealed, or you could just go for it and know that this is very easy to block longer once you go. So I am going to flip mine inside out. I can see the little dashes where the slipped stitches happen, so I know I need to sew between those to sew onto the sides. And because we left ourselves nice long ends on each of the cast on and bind off sides, we know that we can use those. So thread your cast on or bind off end, one of the ends on here, place the strap on that short side section of the bag. And then what I would suggest you do is, depending on how long you want your bag to be, you would whip stitch the bottom a couple of times to the bag. So just go through the bottom and under a stitch on the bag. If you want, split the ply on the bag so that it doesn't go all the way to the front. If you split the ply of that yarn, it will not be as visible to the front. So just do that a few times. And then you do want to sew your bag down in at least one place higher up, just so the strap has a higher bracing point. So what you can do is just thread your yarn needle up to a point where you would want to secure it, and then just go down through the fabric and then back up through the fabric. And just make sure you don't go down and end up in exactly the same spot. You want a little bit of travel so that you're not just undoing the stitch. And then you can tie a knot, snip the needle and snip the yarn and be done. This is not a real messenger bag. It will not need to carry school supplies. Oh, I just undid myself there. Will not need to carry school supplies or things for delivery. So it doesn't need to be truly securely sewn together. So just a little bit of a knot and weave it in. Those of you who want to make it more useful than decorative, what you could do at this point is, if you did a little loop of yarn right here and then a little button or something like that, you could make this a clasp that opens and shuts. That is an option for you if you don't want to just sew it shut, which is what I am going to do. So I need to get my yarn to the front. So I'm just going to leave myself a nice tail there. Line the flap up where I want. I'm going to do 2 clasps. So I'm going kind of like 25%, 25%, and then leaving the middle 50%. And all I'm going to do is make a straight line. So I'll go on straight above where I want to start, and then I will go, and then I've come right back around to where I started. And that will make a nice, let's get that end out of there. That will make a nice straight line. If I wanted it bigger, I would do that again. So maybe a little more visible if we do that. All right, and they need to be about the same tension. And don't pull them too tight. You want that to be nice and big enough that it's laying across that. And then what I did for my fingering weight one is I kind of, you have to travel somehow that you're not going to undo your stitch. So you could, for instance, go one down in terms of this ladder between the two stitches. So if I now go down and under that ladder, that will hold it. If I were to go back down in the exact same spot, I'm just going to undo what I just did. So if I go here, that should disappear. But if that worries you, what you can just do is sort of split the yarn that you have just used. And then when you come here, which is where I want to be, I want to come and make a little crossbar. So I'm just going to go down and across. So you don't want to go all the way through to the back of the messenger bag, so just make sure that you're only going through the flap. And if you want, you can also go through the fabric of the bag, but because this is decorative, we've stitched it down with these first stitches, and now we just need to create a little, I just want to create kind of a little bar shape across there, like that. Now I'm just going to go down, travel over to where I want the next one to go, and repeat that. Now you may wonder what I'm about to do with my ends. I am going to tie a knot and sort of peek in here to try to get the knot as low down as I can into the bag and as close to where I started the whole stitching process as I can. If this bothers you, you can kind of peek out a part of the strap. If you just kind of push it forward, you could then sew these down in a knot. I'll show you what I mean by that. So you could either knot things, or you can just bury the ends in the bottom of the strap. So, for instance, here's my strap, and I could just sort of tie a knot in here and get the end buried in that. Make a loop, go through it twice, and then gently just nudge it closer and closer to the surface of that strap. And then I can bury the end just a little bit up the strap. And once I've done that, I can clip it here. And then I still have, I haven't clipped too close to the knot that it'll just instantly want to undo itself. So I hope that this helps you understand a little bit about what I'm talking about. There is a lot of room for personal embellishment here and color play. So go forth and have fun with your messenger bag.